Welcome to
Welcome.
Women Up Blacks. Okay, so Steffi's dealing with her kids. We have been off for a week because I and my entire family have been sick. If you have children at all, I would say that I'm still sick, but this is actually just me. So
Well,
we're dealing.
there's a fun stomach bug going around. It's super
Yeah,
fun.
we had it. It went around, and I'm just about to get on a plane to go to San Francisco.
Ooh.
So, we had a lot to cover because I feel like a week ago there was so much going down, but so much has happened since. Maryland has been upset
Ugh,
again,
by Jay then.
and UNC really showed its dominance.
Ugh.
Elon's team pushed a bus out of the mud, which is like gone viral.
Well, it's funny because one of the things I wanted to talk to you last night about the UNC Boston College game specifically was when our bus got stuck in Sam Stevenson's driveway.
Okay, that was the year I was coaching
At
right?
Richmond with me. No,
Yeah, at
no,
Richmond, 2012.
No, that was the year before. I think.
Oh.
Remember, you just came to Connecticut to like hang out with us
Oh, you're right, because I was at.
because you were in New York at the time. Just
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, was I somewhere else? Okay, so you're the head coach at Richmond from what to when? When to when?
from
2008?
2009, fall
Oh,
2009
10,
through the 2012
11.
season.
12. And in 2012, you and your assistant Kelly, got pregnant at the same time, and you had to be out on maternity leave at the same time. So you were like, who do we know
Who do I
can
know
come
that's
in
a
and-
really good coach?
who could like do this, but could also leave her life. Anyway, I left my life and I came there and we coached and we went from 31 to 13. So we kind of crushed it that year.
no,
We had an incredible team. I always say like the women on that team were so amazing. And also, by the way, I was testing all the stuff that I would then use to start Brave Enterprises. So we had a blast and we really got into the mental part of it and they were just incredible. Long story short, the bus got caught. If we had just thought to use the whole team to push it. I feel like there might be
I think that the other
some sort of danger there
I
too.
feel like the
Alright?
other part of the story was like really important. Like our biggest rival is UMass. We're on our way to play UMass in the regular season. Not only does the bus get stuck, so like instead of arriving at our hotel in whatever part of Massachusetts UMass is in, Amherst, at like 9 p.m., we don't arrive until like 2 a.m. And remember, I called the head coach at UMass at the time, Ange McMahon, and I was like, "Hey, our bus is stuck. Can like we move the game back?" And she's like, "Game's at
She
noon."
was like,
Game's
no.
at noon. I was like, thinking about it, I'm like, amazing tactic, Ange. Amazing. And literally,
Yeah.
Christy, like that game, it was like I felt like Acacia felt probably yesterday. Like nothing fell in our like anything we tried. As coaches, we tried changing things up. As players, we tried changing things up. Anything we did to the point where like you don't ever give up hope in the game, but you say to yourself sometimes in the back of your brain, like, I got to let this one pass so I can help them regroup.
But how soon do you let it pass? Do you let it pass in the moment and you're trying to be there for your kids? Like, listen, I coach club and, we would get our butts kicked 20-0. And it was just like, the lesson to the kids was, these are the girls we need to be playing against for you guys to get recruited.
Yeah.
And if we don't close this gap, like, no one is coming to save you but yourself. It's a very Elsa Anna moment here. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, like, that whole idea that you have to figure it out. I love when people are embedded in that. But you did watch it was heartbreak Rachel Hall. I just wanted to like call her up as a Brave coach and be like, you are amazing, but
I wanted to hug her.
I hated it because she had the universe against her. Like you want to be like, what is going on? Like she could not buy a break. But I would say like
the team too. It just plays out more when you're the goalkeeper. Like Belle Smith had her stick checked out of her hand. I've never seen that. Belle Smith was running down the field with the ball in her stick. All Katie Schwartzman like, and you know what I mean by Katie Schwartzman like, just like puts gaps of space in between her and somebody else, and like 2 UNC freshmen caught her from behind. Which
the thing is, I'm gonna say I know you love BC and so do I, and I love Acacia, like we love Acacia, but I think that UNC like maybe they were having a bad day BC, but if they were having a bad day, on top of it also was UNC being absolutely, I think I texted you, I was like, they are pulling every inch out of every player. Every player is like just squeezing potential out of herself, from the defensive end to the offensive end. I mean, what was it, Humphrey that was the one that scored all the goals? Like, I guess it was kind of a surprise. Nicole Humphrey, number 9.
Yes, yeah.
She scored a bunch of goals, but it was kind of a surprise. It was like her fourth goal this season.
Not only that, going into the game, if you know anything about UNC, you're assuming that they aren't going to perform well on offense because their quarterback, Wurzburger, was out.
Really? That's what you assume?
Well,
I don't know if that's what you assume.
Well, Jay,
I don't know a ton about
Jay and she. I mean, yes, I would assume that. I agree with Jay and she.
Well, because she. I know, but see, this is what pisses me off, and I'm gonna say it. Like, we focus so much on the perennial or the top, like the goal scorers, and we forget that like they practice every day with other people.
I know.
Like, we should stop weighing it. And I understand, like, it's hard to have somebody like Charlotte North play in a game, or Jamie Ortega, right? And even us, we were like just fawning over Nina Montez, who hasn't really done much since that first game. Yeah, right. But I think, like, when you have a kid like Nicole Humphrey who just comes out of there, you could see her so giddy. Her smile was so adorable. Every time they, like, after she scored a goal, she's almost like, wasn't like a surprise to her, but all at the same time, we have to keep the doors open for more talent. And also, Wurzburger, it gives her a chance to just not have to do it all.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
not have to bear the brunt of all that pressure, which is what I loved about North Carolina's team last year. It's almost like the pressure was, I don't want to say evenly distributed, but it was. And one of the things I loved about North Carolina yesterday, and I can't believe I'm saying loved about North Carolina, because those two things normally don't go in the same sentence together.
Well, because I just recall in 2012 when North Carolina came to Richmond and we were both on the sideline, and when you talked about like BC having a bad day, I was like, remember that one day? It was snowing. We just were like, I mean, it was like a snowing monsoon in the middle of the game, and I just remember being like, I don't know how to help. I don't know how to help our kids.
One thing I saw about North Carolina,
other than to love them, that's what we basically did.
Other than to love them, was they did. Yesterday was was an amazing job from North Carolina staff with the amount of confidence they were giving to their freshmen. I mean, they played so many freshmen. They connected. They just did so many. I mean, I'm going to tell you a story here in a second about the like adverse reaction that I had to the stress of watching that game. I mean,
wait, because you're stressed for Boston College?
I'm stressed for Boston College and the other ACC teams that have to play North Carolina.
Wait, this is real life.
Again. Okay, so like
before you tell your story, can I just say, I would still call this the beginning of the season. Like, it's early-ish in the season. I mean, how is UNC this good this early?
Fudge.
And how are they this good across the roster? When I talk about
their goalie had a Taylor Moreno type experience, and she's not Taylor Moreno. Like,
I mean, Taylor Moreno is still legit as a person,
but I'm saying like,
right? I know she was so good, but I'm talking about Brooklyn Walker-Welch.
Oh gosh.
I can't. First of all, this is what I was going to say. Like, you hold your stick, right? I remember when you used to drive this way, you have to put your stick here. Then you have to put your stick here. She was just like, this is where my stick is.
Yeah, I'm going to knock you down.
And my body, I mean, I can't. I'm like, how does a defender not use their body?
Anybody ran down the field cradling that fast in our generation, the ball would have gone out in 75 different directions.
Remember when they took my stick in the NCAAs in 1995? Because like they were like, it's an illegal pocket. I'm going to call that Gary.
It's not an illegal pocket.
It was literally. I had 17 shooting strings because back then it was cool, and my stick, like the ball just stuck out. Like if the ball just like was hanging, like they probably were just like, we feel sorry for her. Like actually, this is so embarrassing.
Just make her stick illegal.
I can't. I mean, but yeah. I mean, so Gary, that was definitely a good mental tactic because I was like, my stick.
I definitely went downstairs to see if I could find my stick because of the story I'm going to tell you, and by the story I'm going to tell you, it's a dream. This is
okay.
I don't have a lot of like. I'm definitely heard dreams a lot, but like, you know, you get really stressed and you have that dream where like, for me, it's always like,
the proverbial you or just you?
Take it for what you want. I don't know. Where it's like, I'm stuck in the blue stairway of Annapolis High School, and I can't find a shoe and I can't get to class, and everything I do, I can't. So I had this dream last night where I couldn't get to the beginning of the game at UVA. I couldn't get to it. I'm in the locker room.
Oh, you're playing. You're a player.
I'm playing, but I'm playing as the alumni, I think, because I'm going down for a 25-year celebration against Villanova. I don't know why we're
okay. This is the game.
I
UVA
think this
versus
is my
Villanova.
boyfriend coming into the hold because he went to Villanova. Anyway,
Okay.
Pass. Anyway, I'm standing at my locker, and my entire locker is packed as if this is the first time I've come to the locker since we lost the national championship from the year before. Okay. I put on my pleated kilt.
Yeah, you did. High-waisted.
No, I had to button it under my boobs because it's the skinniest part about me. That's the only way I could get it on. And I had to send it home to Mom to have the pleats taken out in the butt. I go out to the field. Mia Mooney's there. Sam Taylor is there.
Oh my God! All the legends,
is there.
legends.
All of my teammates. And like, we can't start the game. I bring out my oath stick, which is why I went downstairs to see if it was here. It's at Mom's house. And the pocket
Wooden handle, oath stick.
And the pocket's gone. So I turn around and Drew's there because our brother Drew is putting all of our sticks. So I'm like, dude, I need you to hurry up, Drew, and string this. We are about to play Villanova for what I think is a national championship. And I couldn't get the game started. Now, I will take away one positive thing from this dream. Heather Dow did tell me I looked like I was in shape.
Which happened when?
I think the dream ended right then.
No, but it did ever happen in real life?
No, it never happened in real life. But I'm taking the fact that she believed it. I think she was in. Yeah.
But
that's the reaction I had from watching that game.
Okay, I didn't have that. I didn't have that dream, but I didn't have that dream last night. I had to run an errand because somebody was willing to watch my kids for 2 hours. So I went out and I was like, I'm going to be on the streets. You tell me, text me the updates, which you did. I was on the streets in New York City. I was honestly just buying a really nice pair of flats and stuff. But anyway, I do have dreams like that. Where like everything is right except for one detail. Like I don't have shorts, or underwear, but I have a jersey that's kind of long enough. Would it pass? Or like, do I have eligibility still? You know what I mean? Like I know I'm 46, but like there's that one semester where like
44
maybe
in the dream. I wasn't 22. I had to pin my pleated kilt above my mom pouch.
Okay, so how do you love your kids? Like, and they know that they're losing. And you know that they're losing, and they know that they're going to lose. Like, what is the approach as a coach to like hang on to that?
In my
game?
opinion, is you gotta embrace the losing
truth.
The truth. I mean, we talk about this a lot, Chris. We talked about it a lot this week. I've talked about it a lot because in Annapolis, we've just gone through our public school tryouts. I mean, I had a couple of kids that had very bad reactions in their tryout. Like one of them passed out during her tryout, her run, because
she was freaking out.
It's just because of her stress. Meanwhile, this is like the kid who, like, this is the kid where it's like, I don't worry about the fitness level. So it's like, you got to embrace it. And I really had to have the conversation with her about like, you got to talk about the awkward and be okay with talking about the awkward, which is hard.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think it's way deeper than that. I think the stress management, like, I remember when we were back at Richmond, and I keep on bringing up the season only because I remember moments where it was like, we prepped them for the game and against UNC, like, listen, like, the win is not the thing that's going to make this game a good game for us. You know what I mean? Like, if we get a win, great. But like, let's not go for that. Let's go for execution of our plays, and let's go for the best possible opponent we can ever see and try to get our stuff done against that team. And I remember like they were just so excited to try their stuff and to see how well their stuff worked. But it took months for us to train them.
But I also think we told them, like, we were very upfront with that team that year. Like, hey, this is what we're going to try. I mean, specifically the game against Maryland, when we had two freshmen basically covering Katie Schwartzman for 50 yards of the field, just to take that away from her and her running ability. Yeah. And like, we were like, at some points it might work. At some points it might not. So what do you do when it doesn't work? You still have to play the game.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, pre-populating with solutions for emotional management
in the game.
Right. I think the emotional management piece is like over the last 10 years since we coach, right? Like, so it's now 11 years later, actually, since 2023 season now, like how much coaches are having to deal with the mental management side of it and how much, like, how many, honestly, for Brave, I no longer currently work for this company Post, but Brave is like being hired out constantly by college athletic departments to come and work with the women, and really just position this idea of bravery as a skill that can be practiced and learned, and all of the different ways that you have to be brave, essentially going outside of your own comfort zone. So emotionally, physically. I used to always say, like, we can't just ask somebody to go take an interception. That is an emotional risk. It's like, I understand it's a thing we do in sports, but like, you have to be warmed up and ready to do that. I'm also looking at myself and like, this is the most busted I've ever looked.
Well, no, your hair is amazing always, first of all.
This is ridiculous.
Well, I mean,
like, this is a handlebar.
So
and this,
it's awesome. You just got to go with it. I will say that at the beginning of the game, and what I've seen more, well, first of all, we talked last week about like the fact that defenses aren't revved up. We've seen now, specifically in the Maryland James Madison game, even in the UNC Virginia Tech game, which was last weekend, defenses are holding teams for an entire like 15 minutes where they're not even scoring.
Well, I mean, the thing is, you're seeing so much better one-on-one defense. They're not playing like it's like almost like, I hate to say this, but it's almost like they're not playing like a team. They're playing so much better individually that then the team effort becomes so much more comprehensive. Yeah. Totally. And you're like, you can also see the strategy in defense now. So the units are moving better together, but it's the one-on-one. It's the like, we know this person's move. You can tell they've been scouting. You can tell that they know that they have that
scouting. Probably become. I mean, we talked earlier before we started recording about Sydney Scales, number 45 from Boston College. I mean, she became my favorite defender last year as a freshman. She's now a sophomore at Boston College. And, you know, I thought about like, why do I like her play so much? And I think her stance when she's being like, she typically will now draw sort of the best attacker from whatever team they're playing. And her stance on them is sort of like this, come at me, bro. Like, I got you. And I just love how she approaches. She must see the field so well, because as they're taking their long one-on-one against her, she knows exactly where the 8 and the 12 are, because she backs up, and then she becomes like this brick wall right at like the 10. And like, so that tells me that her vision of the field like is just so amazing. One of the things I also love that Sheehan and Jay said yesterday.
Wait, Sydney Scales is a junior now, freshman 21, sophomore 22.
Okay, it's COVID.
Yeah, it's understandable.
It got me.
Go ahead, carry
but one of the things that actually, and I texted you about this yesterday. I was watching the North Carolina NC State Notre Dame women's basketball game because I wanted.
And you and I both got to work with that team.
Yeah, I wanted to see
through Brave.
I wanted to see Sanaya Rivers, who's now playing point guard, because their 2 point guards who we loved are both injured. Yeah, so Sanaya's playing point guard. But one of the things I loved that I made the connection for basketball to what Jay and Sheehan were saying yesterday was the bigs for basketball. That's what they call them on TV. They're calling them the bigs. Okay? It's not me saying this.
The tall girl. Is River in for you?
Not only did River take like 17 crush yesterday, but she also had like monster blocks. I mean,
she looks good. So good. Wait, so Sanaya Rivers and River, I don't know what River's last name is, but they're two different people. River Baldwin,
two different people.
Yeah.
Both transfers into NC State.
Sanaya came from the Gamecocks from last year
with South Carolina, and then was like, I'm going to go transfer. So that's a whole nother.
Let's have Sanaya on. I would love to talk to her.
I'll text her.
Okay.
But what the basketball commentators were talking about, and what Jay and Sheen were talking about specifically from a defensive standpoint, was like the maintaining body contact of the attacker / girl that was on offense. Like the ability for a big and for defenders to maintain contact and not have that separation of contact. And I made that correlation between not only Sydney Scales from Boston College, but the number 45 from UNC as well. I mean, they played the exact same way.
Walker Welsh. Yeah. I mean, but Boston College, Steffi, they were leaning in. They were going for the checks. They were completely overcommitting. I know. And so UNC could just, it was nothing spectacular.
It was up on it. They felt it.
And UNC
looked like they felt it.
But like UNC literally stopped everything.
Everything.
Like it was like what's her? Is it Medjid?
Medjid.
How do you say
Jen
her?
Medjid.
Medjid. She had an amazing. Sheehan said an amazing take, but not a great shot. Like they couldn't get the power. They couldn't get the placement. They couldn't get the positioning.
I think it's because they couldn't get their hands free because the UNC defense was literally right there. I mean.
It was crazy. I mean, so many times the clock was winding down and you were just like, they got nothing. I don't know how they're going to create something here. And you could see the frustration. And then, it became like, we got to switch it up on the draw. I think BC started filtering some people in, and that was like just trying to make some changes. But again, like you said at the beginning, just sort of like fell short. Let's start looking at what is ahead, because there's a big game, big day of games ahead.
Duke, Notre Dame.
So you're saying we should also say like Princeton upset Rutgers. I mean, is it an upset? You were saying Rutgers is going to be amazing, but you think the Maryland upset is bigger? Obviously, I think so too.
I do.
But today's
you
do just because what?
Because sorry, we haven't. Not that we shouldn't talk about James Madison a lot, but Maryland. Maybe we just made an assumption. No, I don't. Maryland, I'm not worried about.
No,
I'm not
no. I'm not worried about Maryland.
First,
but like, you
start
to get stressed.
Second week of April, if this happens again, like I might be a little. I think that I might be. Looking at who plays today. I think the Drexel Hopkins game is going to be really interesting. Hopkins has been playing
interesting.
Really well. I think
Duke,
Penn
Notre Dame,
Loyola. Yep. Oh well, definitely.
Oh, Penn State, Loyola.
I think Temple St. Joe's is going to be a really fun game.
I mean, Philly.
What's up?
Yale Princeton. I'm going to say Yale Princeton because that's a battle of the Ivy League championship right there. Right? And they never really meet in the beginning of the season. So this is going to be really interesting. Ivy play opens this weekend, so that's going to be interesting. You have Columbia Penn. You have, who else? You have Brown and Harvard. I'm really following this. I mean, in such a joy, Michelle Tumalo, the Army team.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, I can't.
Well, we need to have Michelle on.
Oh, and I mean, she's so awesome. She's so awesome. She's so like, La Hunter is patient kind of, you know what I mean? Like with her career, with her way that she attacks the cage, like as a player, like, and as the arm, just leaning into this and getting this position. I just love her.
At Sunday's games, Syracuse plays Virginia Tech. Now, I will say, my player of the week, we haven't talked about this, but Jocelyn Torres, the goalkeeper for Virginia Tech, she held Virginia Tech held UNC scorers for the fourth quarter of their game. They ended up losing 10-6. But
wow, that's not even on my radar.
This was last weekend.
That one I was.
So I'm excited to see them play Maryland, Denver. I mean, really interesting.
Oh.
Also, Arizona State's going to get their first big chance. They play Florida. That's going to be an interesting one. Let's see what can happen there. Because
so many teams to talk about. We got to do like a rundown where we go through the top, and I'm excited for the polls after this, and that'll be our next episode. Is like going through how the polls were and what the teams.
I think it's going to be a fun weekend of lacrosse. And I'm sure all these games are being streamed now, which is like so awesome. I mean, yesterday I was flipping back and forth between UNC Boston College, and then I won't lie, I was giving myself some reprieve going to the UVA Clemson game.
But go ahead, Wahoos! They did it. But Clemson again, like I'm not to start a program this strong.
No. She's probably come out of the gate the strongest of all in the past 10 years of all the teams. And one thing I'm not worried about with Allison Kwolek at Clemson, like she's got the discipline down with her teams. Like they're going to be on point. On point. Yeah, I'm not worried about it.
All right, so if I ask you who's gonna win, who's gonna win in terms of what's your biggest game today?
I'm gonna go with Duke Notre Dame just because it'll be Notre Dame just came off of a really rough go at Clemson. Duke has performed really well so far, so it'll be just a really good test for both of them. I also do think it's a matchup. From last year's, a really good matchup from last year's ACC championships. They weren't in the championship game. They were in the Notre Dame made that run during the ACCs. So I think it's going to be a really, I'm excited to see Duke play.
Yeah.
I haven't seen them play a full game yet, and I do plan on like watching that entire game because I want to learn a little bit more about Notre Dame as well as Duke. So I'm really
Me too.
I'm also excited to watch Yale Princeton because I just
Yale Princeton and St. Joe's and Temple. Those are the ones I'm interested
I mean,
in.
What Bonnie Rosen's doing at Temple is just like, again, like if she can, I hate to say this, but if she can pull some more big time recruits away from like the Penns and the Drexels to go to a Temple, I mean,
Temple was my number one school. Like, I liked it. This was my number one school. I loved it so much. I wanted to be in Philadelphia. We worked with the Temple team right before the pandemic, and just Bonnie is so conscientious. She cares about the players. She's really thinking about the players in terms of their the stuff that's going on in their head, and so she's trying to serve them in that way. I'd love to see her and the team be successful for sure.
Yeah.
All right, we got to wrap it up. Great talking to you.
Have fun watching Lax.
I'll come at you.
All right.
Oh yeah, everybody out there, have fun. I'll be on a plane to San Francisco, so whatever. Bye.
Bye.